the bright moonlight, you are my sun. Day 27. Cuddles. As of right now, Ladybug feels like she's 13 again. Honestly, it sounds dumb because she's really not that old, as she is frantically digging through her closet. For the first time ever, she and LadyNoir, Adrian, are going on a real date. Not just one at the park, or building rooftop, or one of those movie nights. An actual, in a restaurant date. It is the most exciting yet nerve-wracking thing to ever happen to her in a long, long, long time. Well, technically, in just the 4 weeks they defeated Hawkmoth. Ladybug sighs as she tosses the sunglasses over her eyes and checks her appearance in the mirror. It's strange because she's still going as if he didn't know who she was, and they still need to hide their identities. Even in the past few days, they still call each other by their alter ego names more often than their real ones. Maybe it's a shift they will figure out in time, but right now it is what it is. The identity reveal had been crazy. It had been an insane, almost fever dream type thing. Ladybug had opened her eyes first to see Adrian covered in dirt and blood and looking as rough as ever, but God, he looked like an angel after the fight. But not because of his model looks, but because he was LadyNoir and the best person she's ever met. She had been sobbing like a darn waterfall even before he opened his eyes. And when he did, well, let's just say they cried a lot. It had been a huge shock for her, and it ended up just being almost funny. She sort of never fell in love with a different boy. Just the same one under a different name. He seemed to have a very little adjustment time and fell out of his awkward phase really quickly. She took a bit more time trying to process that. She managed to get Adrian aggressed. The boy who stole her heart for so many years and yet didn't know it. Her close friend, and the one who got away. As Ladybug. Without trying to. In fact, the fact that they had such different personalities didn't even faze her, much to his surprise. She had been a little preoccupied with doing a little happy dance because she just loved everything about him. You could just transform, Tiki laughs as she pulls on the coat. And be swamped for another reason, she says pointedly. No way. Every time she and Shot had been out since the defeat, the cameras flashed in their faces and they barely have time to escape and transform back into their normal selves. And then the cameras point back to him and he becomes the same mess as before. It's actually hilarious. I guess it gets a little inconvenient, Tiki says idly. But it would be good if Mayura comes back, she mentions, talking about Hawkmoth's accomplice, who got away. Ladybug snorts. A little? Just a little inconvenient? She giggles. It was the same level of craziness as the day Adrian's perfume ad came out. True. Also, shouldn't you be well on your way now? With a look on the clock, Ladybug yelps and rushes out the back door. It is, after all, still nighttime, and she wants to avoid waking up her parents, who would have a lot of questions as to why she was leaving the house in the summertime, so bundled up at night. One time they came up as she was getting ready and she had to spin some crazy story about being a cuddly teddy bear and loving the layers, and now she has 3 new coats that she doesn't need in any way, shape, or form. They've since been donated to a shelter for people who are actually in need of jackets. Hello, my lady, he says, as she slipped into her seat. Blushing, she smiles. Hi, kitty. Lately, she's been blushing a lot, and especially at school, because they have yet to explain it all to their friends. It's selfish, but she doesn't know if she ever wants to do so. It's just nice keeping her relationship with Chat Noir now, with the knowledge of his real name, to herself. This is new, he says with a laugh. Yep, they are definitely being more awkward than usual, but it's all the environment's fault. Chat smiles and he reaches a hand across the table. There aren't a ton of people at the restaurant, which makes sense because it is still 12 a.m. and dark as ever outside. Ladybug looks down and he holds her hand in his. It's warm and comfortable and it eases any of her worries and anxieties. I don't like the sunglasses, he says out of the blue. Ladybug looks at him with slight offense. I want to see your eyes, Chat Noir admits with a cheeky smile. Ladybug's face flushes, and without the mask covering her nose, he can see just how pink it actually gets. His laughter is fun-filled and rich, and it's just pretty enough that she doesn't actually want to let go of his hand. You're such a romantic, she teases him. Only for you, he tells her, tilting the glasses down to wink at her. It warms her heart because she knows it's true. He is a romantic for her, and her alone. It's the whole reason she hasn't told anyone else in her life about it. Not because she's embarrassed. She and Chat Noir had an entire fight about it in the early days of their relationship, and about keeping it so secretive and private to their real-life friends. It's not because of that. It's because she wanted to protect it and hold it close to herself and never let anyone or another soul touch it or possibly taint it. Her trauma has only made her more protective of this precious love. You're beautiful, he says. Charming, Ladybug laughs, looking down at her lap, even though he can't see it. He smiles at her because he didn't mean it as a joke, and she didn't think it was one either. You are too, Chat snorts. I'm classically handsome, he replies. And beautiful, Ladybug insists. The way you smile is gentle, and your laugh is effortless. It really is beautiful, she says. It's his turn to blush hard, and she smirks in triumph. What am I? Am I your beautiful boyfriend now? He teases, bringing up the nickname that Chloe had given to her boyfriend. Ladybug laughs and shakes her head. No, that's already taken, and I'm no trend follower, she says in an exaggerated tone. You can be my pretty boyfriend. You know, because the magazines always call you pretty boy, she says, with a smile. Chat sighs and kisses her hand. You make me fall in love so hard, he says honestly. And yeah, he kind of makes her fall in love too hard.